All right, let's talk about protecting your single most valuable asset. And no, I'm not talking about your car or your bank account. I'm talking about your inner world. It's that space we all have. But honestly, most of us were never taught how to properly guard it. So today, we're going to explore exactly how to build that defense.
So everything we're diving into today really boils down to this one powerful sentence. They protect their inner world like a boundary. I know, it sounds a little mysterious, right? But trust me, once you really get what this means, it is the key to unlocking a much more peaceful, much more authentic version of yourself.
So let me just ask you this. What if your peace of mind wasn't just this feeling that comes and goes? What if it was an actual place, a space that you could cultivate, that you could guard, and that you could protect from all the noise outside? That little shift in perspective, well, that can change absolutely everything.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, let's use a metaphor that I think works perfectly. The idea of a secret garden inside of you. Now, this isn't just some poetic concept, it's a really practical way to think about and manage that vital inner space.
So what is this inner world we're talking about? Well, it's that totally private internal space where your most honest thoughts live. It's where your truest feelings hang out, where your core values are rooted, and where all your creative energy comes from. Basically, it's the source code of who you are.
So just think for a second about what's actually growing in your garden. We're talking about your core values, right? The compass that guides all your decisions. We're talking about your creative ideas, those unique seeds that only you can plant, your deepest hopes, your private emotions. And right there, in the middle of it all, is your fundamental sense of self. All of that is in there, and all of it is absolutely worth protecting.
But here's the thing, just like any real garden, this inner world is vulnerable. It can be invaded by things that just don't belong there, the weeds and pests that threaten to choke out all the good stuff you're trying to grow.
And you know what I'm talking about, those unchecked external influences, the constant demands from other people, the negative comments, the pressure to be someone you're not. They don't just bounce off us. No, they can get right inside, trample our most delicate thoughts, and plant these really invasive seeds of self-doubt and anxiety.
And this slide just lays it out so clearly, right? On one side, you have everything that helps your garden flourish. Encouragement, respectful conversation, genuine support. That's your sunshine and water. But on the other side, you've got the threats, harsh criticism, that unsolicited advice you never asked for, the constant demands on your time and energy. Those are the weeds, and they will steal the nutrients and block out the sun every single time.
So this brings us to the most important question. How do we keep the weeds out while still letting all that good sunshine in? We need a tool. We need to build a boundary fence.
Now listen, this is such a critical point. A boundary is not a wall. A wall just shuts everyone out and isolates you. A boundary is way smarter. It's like a fence that has a gate. And guess who's the gatekeeper? You are. You get to decide who and what you let into your precious inner space. It's all about conscious, selective control, not total isolation.
Okay, so let's get into the how-tos, because this is the really practical part. How do you actually build this fence? Well, it's a skill, and just like any other skill, you can learn it. It just takes a few clear steps.
It all starts with knowing what you're even protecting. So, step one, you've got to get really clear on what fills you up versus what drains you dry. Once you know your limits, that brings us to step two, which is all about communication. You have to state those limits kindly but firmly. And then, the hardest part, step three, hold the line. You have to be consistent even when it feels awkward, because a boundary is only as strong as your commitment to actually keeping it.
So when you do this, when you really build and maintain that boundary, what's the reward? Why go through all this effort? Well, because you finally get to enjoy the peace and the beauty of your very own inner sanctuary.
And let me tell you, the payoff is huge. You'll feel so much less stress and burnout because your energy isn't just leaking out all over the place. You'll feel more authentic because you're finally living by your own rules, not someone else's. And this frees up an incredible amount of creative energy and helps you build this deep, unshakable trust in yourself. And, kind of surprisingly, it actually leads to way healthier relationships because they're built on real mutual respect.
Look, if you only remember one thing from our time together today, please let it be this. Your energy is not a public resource. It is precious, it is limited, and it belongs to you. You get to choose how you spend it and who you spend it on. It is not just up for grabs. So I'm going to leave you with a question to think about. What is one weed, one negative influence, one draining person, one demand on your time that you will stop from entering your garden starting today? Because just making that decision,
That's the first and most powerful step you can take. Thanks so much for digging into this with me.